In the hills of Ephraim lived a woman named Hannah, gentle, kind, and full of dreams. But there was one thing she could not have: a child. Year after year, she watched other women cradle their babies while her arms stayed empty. Her husband, Elkanah, loved her deeply, but love couldn't fill the silence of her home. Each passing year made the ache heavier. And to make it worse, her husband's second wife, Peninnah, had many children and never missed a chance to remind Hannah of what she lacked. Every word cut deep. Every cry in the night reminded her of what she prayed for but didn't have. Still, she didn't give up on God. When the family traveled to Shiloh to worship, Hannah carried more than an offering. She carried years of tears, pain, and questions. Inside the temple, she fell to her knees. No one heard her words, only the sound of her soul breaking. She whispered through tears, "Lord Almighty, if you will look on your servant's misery and remember me, I will give my son back to you." Eli, the high priest, saw her lips moving and thought she was drunk. But Hannah looked up, her eyes swollen, and said, "I'm not drunk, my lord. I'm pouring out my soul before the Lord." Eli's tone softened. He said, "Go in peace. May the God of Israel grant your request." Something changed that night. She went home not with a baby in her arms, but with peace in her heart. And in time, God remembered Hannah. She conceived and gave birth to a son. She named him Samuel, saying, "Because I asked the Lord for him." Her waiting turned to worship. But the most emotional moment came later. When Samuel was still very young, Hannah kept her promise. She brought him to the temple, looked at the priest, and said softly, "I am the woman who stood here praying to the Lord. I prayed for this child, and the Lord has granted me what I asked. So now I give him to the Lord." Imagine that moment. The same arms that once ached for a child were now releasing him back to God. It wasn't loss. It was trust. She believed that what she gave to God would never be lost in his hands. And God saw her faith. He blessed her with more children, and Samuel grew to become one of Israel's greatest prophets. From heartbreak came hope. From tears came testimony. Because sometimes the miracle isn't just in what God gives, but in what we're willing to surrender. Folded hands.